Yeah, Christina, while self-isolation is not a mandatory policy, infectious disease experts say it is the only realistic and ethical way to contain the spread of this virus. Tonight we speak to one of our own City News colleagues about why he chose to self-isolate. Back at work after 6 weeks away, 2 of them spent in self-isolation, a decision City News editor John Cow made voluntarily after returning from China mid-February.
I wasn't officially required by the Canadian government because I didn't come from Wuhan or Hubei province.
He had been in a neighboring province visiting his parents during the Chinese New Year. Once he was back in Canada, he didn't show any symptoms and wasn't worried, but still he chose to stay home from work for 14 days.
To me, I just, I can't take the risk. Like, I can't think of that. What if, right, you will be the one who, is going to spread out the virus.
With the number of COVID-19 cases on the rise in Ontario, voluntary self-isolation is the only option to contain the spread. Infectious disease experts say the alternative is unrealistic.
I think to implement mandatory quarantine would be a drastic measure. If you have cases here where people have the virus and they're not showing symptoms, how are you going to quarantine them?
At what point do you think people should make that decision to self-isolate?
At this point in time, it's just like for influenza and other viruses, you should stay at home if you're sick. But if someone has a link or has returned from travel, they should get tested.
The advice to employers is to be flexible, and if an employee has a travel history to an affected area, allow them time off to ensure they're not infected out of an abundance of caution.
I got in touch with my manager and I expressed my concern, and he fully agreed. Basically, I didn't know when I was going to be able to come back, and they were always just telling me that, put your safety at first.
As COVID-19 spreads, so too does misinformation and rumors. One Iranian supermarket is paying the price after a social media post went viral. A security guard offers hand sanitizer and gloves to every customer that walks through the doors at Horak supermarket. The same guard also wiping down all used shopping carts.
We haven't had any issues, but we're taking every precautionary measure because we understand that we're a business and we're open to the public, and anything is possible.
But even after increasing their health practices, a completely unfounded rumor that an infected customer shopped here was shared widely on Facebook.
Affected our business. Trying to instill fear into people and tell them not to go to certain businesses. It's not nice. It's not fair to the business owners.
Experts say throughout history, this has been the unfortunate pattern in times of uncertainty.
Well, misinformation and panic are a really ugly combination. It brings out the worst in people.
And with so many COVID-19 stories emerging every day, it's hard to know what's real and what's not.
So we are certainly seeing incidents of racism or finger pointing, saying that's where the boogeyman is. Mm-hmm. And again, it gets right back to people trying to make sense of things in the absence of having knowledge about it. I would like to see spending on public messaging, clear public messaging, posters, TV commercials about what this is and what you can do.
We haven't seen any of that yet here.
I have not seen it anywhere at all.
The owner of the supermarket says already his business is down 30 to 40%. He hopes that people will do their research and not believe everything they read online.